Today I've got an interesting announcement to share with you. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, healthrangerreport.com. For those of you who are involved in disclosure, or maybe you followed the work of people like Dr. Stephen Greer or Jim Mars or many others, maybe you're interested in ancient astronauts or extraterrestrial civilizations or the history of the origins of DNA and so on. I've got an announcement for you, and I'd like you to share this and get this into the hands of the right people in the right circles. And here it is. I have a laboratory, cwclabs.com, and this laboratory is a world-class ISO accredited laboratory, and I built it from the ground up. And the accreditation that we've achieved requires 2 years of inspections and audits and so on, and it puts us at a higher level of credibility than most university labs, by the way. Most university labs are not accredited, and I've been to some university labs, and I'll just say some of them are incredibly sloppy, and they would never be able to be accredited because they're doing crappy science. But that is aside. We're doing amazing science, and we're not funded by any government money. This is key. So we don't get grant money from the feds. We don't get university money. And we're not funded by powerful corporations that would want to censor this information. So here's my offer. I'm available to personally conduct metallurgy and elemental composition tests on samples that come from credible sources within the community of people who are exploring ideas like visitation, disclosure, suppressed technology, and so on. If you know people in that realm, and you've been wondering, where can we get good, honest science that won't be suppressed? Where can we get a composition analysis? Now you have your answer. And I'm offering this at no charge, and I'm offering it simply in the quest for knowledge and human understanding, expansion of human awakening and all of that. And my reputation is absolutely solid across the realm of people who are interested in the truth. So I can't be censored, I can't be bought off, I can't be threatened to cover something up. So cwclabs.com is where you can go to initiate this conversation if you have something that we could test for you. Now, I do want to say, we do not test body fluids and body parts. So please, this is not, I'm not talking about like, send me your Morgellons cyst. This is like, no, please don't do that. We are not equipped for biological tissue sample handling. We can't handle urine, blood, semen. If you send me a vial of semen, it's going in the trash, I swear. What I'm talking about here is metals or objects of unknown composition, and you need an elemental analysis. Now, just to be clear, a little bit of physics and chemistry 101. The instrument that I'm talking about using for this is called an ICP-MS, and it counts the number of elements that are in the sample. To do that, it blasts apart the molecules, leaving only the elements. So in other words, with this instrument, we cannot test intact molecules. For example, pesticides and herbicides are complex molecules that are made of a combination of carbon and hydrogen and nitrogen and phosphorus and oxygen and so on. Those get blasted apart by this instrument. What's left behind are the individual elements, the magnesium, the lead. Sometimes they're called metals, sometimes they're called elements. I call them elements from the table of elements. Every square in that table of elements, that's what we can see. We cannot see intact complex molecules like bisphenol A or an antibiotic drug or, a phytochemical like catechins from green tea. Those are not things that we can see in this instrument that I'm referring to. We have a different instrument for those things if you want to look at chemicals. So we do have a time of flight mass spec system with the liquid chromatography front end for those kinds of things. But that instrument, I'm not offering that instrument right now because we really have to have reference materials more for that. But for just blasting something apart and counting the elements, we don't need reference materials. So we can look at anything. You can send me a part that you think is from some exotic technology, and you're wondering, what's in this? What is this made of in terms of its elements? We can give you that answer. So that's something that we can do, and actually we do it every day. And what's really interesting about this is we can also look at the radioactive isotopes of various elements, including, for example, cesium. So cesium-137 is one of the byproducts of nuclear, and a nuclear bomb or a meltdown. You get cesium-137, and it gives off energy as it's doing the mass to energy conversion, and it downgrades to cesium-134, and then eventually, typically, to 133, which is the stable isotope of cesium. So we can look at these things, and we can actually count in a sample how many atoms are cesium-137, how many are cesium-134, how many are cesium-133, and so on. And we can do this with strontium, 90, iodine. Well, iodine, when it's highly concentrated, it has some other difficult matrix effects. But for most elements, it's very easy for us to test these things, including all the metals. So whether you're talking about titanium or lead or alloys, exotic alloys, gallium, or I don't know, you got maybe some kind of magnesium alloy with zinc in it or something, we can quite readily look at these things. And so I want to put that out there, that we're available to do that, and we're accredited, we're competent, we're experienced, and we're interested in the truth. And that's rare. In fact, I'm not sure that there are really any other labs, not that I'm aware of, that have that combination. A lot of labs are attached to universities, and universities, sadly, are not interested in the truth. Universities mostly are engaged in suppressing the truth and sort of protecting their monopolies of so-called human knowledge. But they have boundaries. They don't want to go beyond the status quo. And of course, the government itself is all about preventing knowledge of all of these things from leaking out. Rather than disclosing everything to the public, they actually want to suppress knowledge. And, even the military-industrial complex, they may have secrets, metallurgy secrets for all we know, or weapons composition secrets and what have you. So they might not want people to know what's going on or how things are made or what they're made of. Maybe there are exotic elements that that somehow have been incorporated into things that would surprise us. Maybe there's a signature in some objects that would be so remarkable that it would be sort of almost a red flag beacon shouting out, "Hey, this is not this is not the usual stuff. Something's very, very different about this." So I don't know what will come out of this, but I do just want to put that out, that we are available to conduct this testing. So just to review, no body samples, please, for God's sake. Stop sending me blood and other things. I don't want that in my lab. and we need to know who this is coming from. So don't just start sending random stuff in a box and this is from anonymous user 4927. Please test this. And it turns out to be highly radioactive, and I have to call in like a bomb squad or something. No, I need to know who it's coming from. And I need to have a conversation with you actually first before I'm going to put it into my instrumentation. And no, I don't want your weapons grade plutonium or other radioactive elements. Not interested in having the Nuclear Regulatory Commission auditing my lab. But if you've got something that's got trace, like for example, maybe you're running around, you're collecting soil from crop circles, right? Just as an example, I'm not really into crop circles, but It's a popular culture kind of phenomenon, I guess. Now, let's say you go out and you collect some soil from the crop circles, and you want to know, hey, is there anything crazy in this soil? I can do that kind of test. Soil is no problem. We test it all the time. I don't think you're going to find anything crazy, by the way, in crop circle soil, but we could test it and find out and give you the answers. Or suppose you've got some water that you think is somehow, I don't know, augmented in some way. I can tell you the mineral composition, the elemental composition of the water. You're probably not going to see anything too surprising if it's water, in terms of just the elements, by the way. But you never know. I'm just putting that out there. What I'm more interested in is more exotic samples of physical objects that might be of an unknown composition or mysterious origin, or even of an ancient origin. So, for example, I can test clay from an ancient artifact, or I can test the metals of an ancient artifact, and can give you a very comprehensive and authoritative scientific report. It can be cited in a court of law because it is considered irrefutable scientific evidence of the composition. And I can give you all of the accompanying information that would further support the analytical results, including the internal standards, the calibration data from the instrument, and so on. So there's no way that it could be challenged as being fake data or anything like that. So hopefully that'll give you some ideas. Again, it's cwclabs.com. And my name's Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, as you probably know. And I'm a curious, conscious being living on a very tiny dot of water in a very large cosmos. And I'm pretty sure we're not alone. So let's put some good science to this, and let's see what we can find out about maybe some things that haven't yet been acknowledged in the human politically correct status quo system of information control. I'll just put it that way. How's that sound? All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted. Click subscribe to stay plugged in to the Health Ranger Report. If you'd like to help support this video and other videos like this, visit healthrangerstore.com, where everything we sell is laboratory tested for heavy metals and more. You'll find superfoods, storable survival foods, nutritional supplements, and a full line of synthetic chemical-free body soaps, shampoos, and oral care products. Everything we sell is non-GMO, and it's all completely free of chemical sweeteners, artificial colors, hydrogenated oils, and other toxic ingredients that you want to avoid. Find all this and much more at healthrangerstore.com.